So, I think a lot of people who tune into this kind of conversation, and I know you probably don't have the right answer, but I don't think anybody does, is what I'm gonna say, is like, do you actually have any sort of I want to choose my words correctly here, but do we actually have a chance, with the amount of interlocking crisis that we're facing? Do you feel like there's still any wiggle room to actually maybe turn the boat and miss the iceberg? Or
Okay, no, that's a fair question. I mean, if you ask me personally, the prospect of our missing the iceberg completely is getting smaller and smaller. But what hitting the iceberg means, I think a lot of that is going to be will vary according to our attitude toward it. It's like the most important thing to acknowledge is, we just don't know. There's a fundamental mystery there, and it's interesting how important that is in Buddhist teachings as well, especially emphasized in the Zen tradition, what we call, don't know mind. That and what it really comes down to, I think, is our task as ecosattvas, if you want to use that term, is to do the very best we can, in the face of that not knowing. And that means we don't know whether anything we do is going to make any difference whatsoever. But that's okay. It's like there's a fundamental mystery here that I think we really need to acknowledge, that in Buddhist practice, it's not the kind of transformation. It's not about sort of, now I understand everything about what's going on. I think it's much more about sort of opening up to this great mystery, this sacred mystery, where things are transforming all the time, whether we know it or not. And in the face of that mystery, somehow the idea that we don't have a chance, I mean, I think that's that hope and despair duality that we were talking about earlier. We have to live in a way that we acknowledge the sacred mystery, and we don't know what's going to happen, and we can't know what role, what effect whatever I do, whatever we do is going to have on that. And of course, that helps a lot. That's why meditation or some kind of mindfulness practice is so essential. The path of the bodhisattva is a double one. It's not just about going out there and helping, but we continue to work on our own transformation. And those two, our own transformation, the larger social ecological transformation, they're very much of a piece. They're two sides of the same coin. And rather than focusing too much on the end, it's important to sort of integrate the ends into the means. The metaphor or the analogy I like to use here is like, say, running a marathon. Unlike a 100-meter dash where, you don't have time to think about anything except getting to the other end as quickly as possible, you can't run a marathon that way, right? The point is, actually, I should say I don't run marathons, but my friends who do, right? Right? The point is to do, it's like just this. It's like you don't get in this head where you're trying to get to the end as quickly as possible, but it's very much sort of just this step, just this step, just this step, becoming one with that. But you're moving in this direction, and if you keep doing that, you're going to get there. And I think that's the important thing. As the Buddha himself emphasized, non-attachment to results. He said that the actions of an awakened person are, nirasa, which can be translated without expectation, or even without that game of hope and despair. Just doing the best we can right here and now. And how that's all going to play out, we really don't know. There's so many scenarios, and yes, some of them certainly are very grim, but in a way, accepting this don't know mind, accepting that we're not going to understand that, doing the very best we can here and now.